The appliance industry made a change in 2020 that's causing washers and dryers to fail at 3 times the rate they did a decade ago. And they're not telling you. Consumer Reports found that 25% of new washers break within the first 5 years. In 2010, that number was 8%. The failure rate tripled, the prices went up, and the warranties got shorter. You're paying more for appliances designed to fail faster. Here's what changed and what every buyer needs to know before spending $1,500 on a machine that might die in year 6. In 2020, the Department of Energy enacted new water efficiency standards for washing machines. Sounds good, right? Save water. Save the planet. But here's what they don't tell you. To meet those standards, manufacturers cut the amount of water washers used from 30 gallons per load to 13 gallons per load. That's 57% less water trying to clean the same amount of clothes. The problem is physics. Clothes need water to get clean. When you cut water by more than half, the machine has to compensate somehow. So manufacturers made 3 changes that are destroying these machines. First, they increased spin speeds. Your washer now spins at 1,200 to 1,400 revolutions per minute instead of 800 to 900 revolutions per minute. Higher speeds mean more stress on bearings, suspension systems, and the drum itself. Parts that used to last 15 years now fail in 597 years because they're operating at 150% of the stress they were designed for. Second, they added premium wash cycles that last 2-3 hours. Normal cycle used to be 35 minutes with plenty of water. Now it's 70-90 minutes with minimal water, tumbling your clothes endlessly to make up for the lack of water. This extended operation time wears out motors, belts, and electronic components faster. The machine runs twice as long to do the same job, so parts wear out twice as fast. Third, they can't rinse properly anymore. With 13 gallons of water, there's not enough water to rinse detergent out of clothes. So they add extra rinse cycles, which means even more operation time, even more wear on components. Your water-efficient washer runs longer, works harder, and dies faster than the inefficient model it replaced. Consumer Reports tracked failure rates from 2010 to 2024. Top-load washers had an 8% failure rate in the first 5 years. By 2024, that jumped to 25%. Front-load washers went from 12% to 30%. The machines are objectively less reliable, but they cost 40% more than they did in 2010. Front-load washers look sleek. They're more water efficient. Salespeople love them. But here's what they don't mention. Front loaders have a catastrophic design flaw that hasn't been solved in 25 years. The door seal traps water. Every single time you wash clothes, water gets trapped in the rubber gasket around the door. That water sits there in a dark, warm environment. You get mold, black, toxic mold, growing in the seal. You can smell it on your clean clothes. You can see it when you open the door. And no amount of cleaning completely eliminates it because the design guarantees water stays trapped. Manufacturers know this. They tell you to leave the door open after every wash to air it out. That's not a solution. That's an admission that the design is fundamentally flawed. A properly designed appliance shouldn't require specific user behavior to prevent mold growth. Imagine if your refrigerator required you to leave the door open for 3 hours after every use to prevent bacterial growth. You'd say the refrigerator is broken. Front-load washers have the same problem, but somehow it's considered normal. The maintenance requirements are insane. You're supposed to run a cleaning cycle with special washer cleaner once a month. You're supposed to wipe down the seal after every wash. You're supposed to leave the door open between uses. You're supposed to check and clean the drain pump filter every 3 months. You're supposed to use high-efficiency detergent only, and even then, use 50% of the recommended amount because too much detergent causes buildup. Follow all these rules, and your front loader might last 10 years. Miss any of them, and you're looking at mold, seal failure, bearing failure, or pump failure within 5 years. This is a $1,200 appliance that requires more maintenance than a car. And when it fails, repair costs are $300 500 because front-load washers are engineered to be difficult to repair. But here's the absolute worst part. The same efficiency regulations that mandate low water usage make the mold problem unsolvable. Front loaders need even less water than top loaders, around 10 gallons per load. There's not enough water to effectively rinse the seal or flush the drum. So the mold problem that's plagued front loaders since 1999 has actually gotten worse in 2025 models because they use even less water. Walk into any appliance store in 2025, and every washer and dryer has Wi-Fi, touchscreens, and smartphone apps. Manufacturers market this as convenience. It's actually planned obsolescence. Consumer Reports data shows that 35% of washer failures are electronic failures, control boards, sensors, touchscreens. These components fail at dramatically higher rates than mechanical components. A mechanical timer dial from a 1990s washer lasts 20+ years. A modern electronic control board fails in 6-8 years on average. Why? Because electronics fail. It's not a design flaw. It's the nature of electronics. Capacitors degrade. Solder joints crack from thermal cycling. Touchscreens die. Wi-Fi modules fail. These aren't fixable problems. When the control board dies, you're paying $300 600 for a new board, and that's if the board is still available. Many manufacturers discontinue parts after 7-10 years, meaning a failed control board turns your appliance into 200 pounds of scrap metal. But here's why they're doing this. A mechanical washer from 1995 can be repaired indefinitely. Every part is mechanical, widely available, and repairable by any competent technician. A smart washer from 2025 is a computer that washes clothes. When the computer dies, the appliance is dead. Repair requires manufacturer authorization, and in many cases, the manufacturer decides repair isn't economical and you should just buy a new machine. This is by design. GE, Whirlpool, Samsung, LG, they've all shifted to models where revenue comes from replacement cycles, not durability. A washer that lasts 25 years is a customer they only see once. A washer that dies in year 8 is a customer they see 3 times in 25 years. The smart features aren't for your convenience. They're engineered failure points that ensure you're buying appliances on a schedule the manufacturer controls. And you're paying extra for this. A basic mechanical washer costs $700. A smart washer with Wi-Fi and touchscreen costs $1,400. You're paying double to get an appliance that will fail sooner and cost more to repair. The premium features are a premium liability. Every washer in 2025 advertises capacity in cubic feet, 5.0 cu fit capacity. Marketing makes it sound massive. But here's the scam. They're measuring the drum when it's completely empty and including space you can't actually use. The Department of Energy allows manufacturers to measure capacity as total drum volume. So they measure from the very bottom of the drum to the very top, including the space where the agitator sits or where clothes would hit the door seal. This is like measuring a car's trunk space by including the area where the spare tire sits, technically part of the volume. A 5.0 co feet has about 3.5 co feet of actual usable space once you account for the agitator, safe loading limits, and space the door seal takes up. But 5.0 sounds better than 3.5, so that's what they put on the label. Load capacity claims are even worse. Manufacturers claim their washers handle 16 pounds of laundry per load. Sounds great. But they don't tell you that 16 pounds is measured bone dry. Once clothes absorb water, they weigh 3-4 times more. Your 16-pound capacity is actually 4.5 pounds of wet laundry, which is barely enough for a week's worth of clothes for 2 people. Test this yourself. Take a full load of laundry, the amount you'd actually wash at once. weigh it dry. I guarantee it's 12 to 18 pounds. Now put it in your 16-pound capacity washer. Does it fit comfortably with room for agitation? Or is it packed tight? You're overloading the machine, which causes additional wear and means clothes don't get clean because they can't move freely. This is why your clothes don't smell clean anymore. You're overloading based on fake capacity numbers. The machine doesn't have enough water to clean properly, and there's too many clothes for the reduced water to reach. You run a second rinse cycle, which takes more time and puts more wear on the machine. The capacity lie is costing you time, money, and shortening your appliance's life. Samsung and LG washers have beautiful features and terrible reliability. Consumer Reports gives both brands below-average reliability ratings. Repair technicians will tell you flat out, don't buy Samsung or LG appliances. They're designed and manufactured as electronics with appliance functions, not appliances with electronics. When they fail, and they will, parts are expensive, repairs are complicated, and customer service is a nightmare. Samsung particularly has catastrophic quality control issues. Their top-load washers from 2016 to 2021 had a recall for exploding during spin cycle. Not a metaphor, literally exploding. Lids flying off, drums detaching, machines destroying themselves. Samsung's response was a recall with a repair that didn't fix the underlying design flaw. Thousands of machines still exploded after the repair. That's the company you're trusting to last 10 years. GE was reliable until 2016, when they sold the appliance division to Haier, a Chinese company. Post-2016 GE appliances are rebranded Haier products with declining quality. Pre-2016, GE appliances routinely lasted 15-20 years. Post-2016 models are failing at industry average rates, around year 7, 8. The name is the same. The product is completely different. Whirlpool, Maytag, and Amana are all the same company now. Whirlpool bought Maytag in 2006 and Amana decades earlier. They're manufacturing the same washers with different exterior styling and different brand names. Quality varies by specific model rather than brand. Some Whirlpool models are excellent. Some are garbage. The brand name doesn't tell you anything anymore. Speed Queen is the only brand still building washers like they did in 1995. Commercial-grade components. Mechanical controls. No unnecessary electronics. No Wi-Fi. No touch screens. They're rated for 25 years of residential use or 10 years of commercial laundromat use. Consumer Reports gives them top reliability ratings. Repair technicians recommend them universally. But Speed Queen costs $1,600, $2,000 for a basic top-load washer without any premium features. That's double what a Whirlpool or Samsung costs. Here's the math that matters. A $900 Samsung that dies in year 7 costs you $128/year. A $1,800 Speed Queen that lasts 25 years costs you $72/year. The expensive appliance is actually cheaper because it doesn't need to be replaced. Dryers are simpler than washers. Heat plus tumbling equals dry clothes. But manufacturers found ways to ruin them too. Moisture sensors have replaced timer-based drying. Sounds convenient. The dryer automatically stops when clothes are dry. But here's the failure point. Moisture sensors are metal bars inside the drum that detect electrical conductivity in wet fabric, lint buildup, fabric softener residue, and mineral deposits from water coat these sensors over time. Once coated, they can't accurately detect moisture. Your dryer either overdries everything, wasting energy and wearing out clothes, or underdries everything, leaving damp clothes that mildew. You're supposed to clean these sensors monthly with rubbing alcohol. No electronics to break, just a mechanical timer that lasts 20+ years. But manufacturers don't make these anymore because automatic moisture sensing is a feature they can charge $200 extra for. Heat pump dryers are being marketed as the energy-efficient future. They use 50% less energy than traditional dryers by recycling hot air instead of venting it outside. Sounds great. But heat pump dryers have reliability problems that haven't been solved. The heat exchanger clogs with lint, reducing efficiency and requiring professional cleaning every 1-2 years. The compressor fails after 5 years. Repair costs are $500-800 because the systems are complex and parts are expensive. Traditional vented dryers are dumb, simple, and reliable. A motor, a belt, and a vent. That's it. Every part is cheap and replaceable. A traditional dryer can last 20+ years with minimal maintenance. Heat pump dryers are sophisticated, expensive, and fragile. They'll save you $30/year on electricity while costing you $600 in repairs by year 7. For washers, get the simplest top-load model you can find. No touchscreen, no Wi-Fi, no smart features. Mechanical controls if possible. Basic electronic controls if you have to. Ignore capacity claims. They're lies. Look for models with metal components instead of plastic, especially the transmission and agitator. Expect to pay $700, $1,000 for a decent unit that will last 10-15 years. If you must get a front loader, buy Miele. They're expensive, $1,800, $2,500, and they're the only front loaders that don't have catastrophic mold problems because they actually engineer proper drainage and use better seals. Every other front loader is a maintenance nightmare waiting to happen. For dryers, get a traditional vented dryer with mechanical or basic electronic controls. Avoid moisture sensors if possible, but if you can't, plan to clean them monthly. Avoid heat pump dryers unless you're committed to professional maintenance. A basic dryer costs $600-800 and will last 15-20 years. Don't overthink it. The absolute best value in 2025. Speed Queen TC5 washer, $1,600 paired with a Speed Queen DR5 dryer, $1,400. Total cost, $3,000. Expected lifespan, 25 years. No planned obsolescence, built like commercial laundromat equipment, because that's literally what it is. Repair technicians buy these for their own homes. That should tell you everything. The absolute worst value, Samsung or LG front-load smart washer, $1,400 with matching smart dryer, $1,200. Total cost, $2,600. Expected lifespan, 6 months. 8 years before major repairs. Wi-Fi you'll never use. Touchscreens that will fail. Mold problems you'll fight constantly. Manufactured to fail and designed to be expensive to repair. The decision is simple. You can pay less now and pay again in 7 years. Or pay more once and be done for 20+ years. The appliance industry is banking on you choosing short-term savings over long-term value. That's how they've tripled failure rates while increasing prices and calling it innovation. You're not buying appliances anymore. You're buying planned obsolescence disguised as smart features. The warning is clear, the data is public, and the choice is yours.